Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass, who brought me vegetables. Thanks.
I brought you heirloom tomatoes from my garden and a cucumber.
It's fantastic. I don't know what to do with them, but
It's up to your imagination, but I would
well,
rather you use
yes.
olive oil, oregano, salt, pepper.
I'll have to find somebody who can do those things you describe with these items that you provided. I don't.
Too much with that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Metaphor.
There's been nothing more enjoyable over the last several months. Well, two things. One is that you have Judicial Watch filling the void left by the Department of Justice and the Fourth Estate.
Of course.
And two is some reporters actually picking up on the scent that Judicial Watch has laid down through their Freedom of Information requests and civil litigation and asking difficult questions of State Department flacks pertaining to Hillary's tenure as the Secretary of State that tie them in knots. It happened again, and perhaps the best guy over in the press pool at the State Department is Associated Press reporter Matt Lee, and he queried Mark Toner, one of these fungible State Department spokespersons, about some of the recent emails that were unearthed, thanks again to Judicial Watch, that detail how Clinton aides like Uma, Mrs. Carlos Danger, and Doug Band and others essentially provided the support staff for the Clinton Foundation to aid Hillary Clinton in leveraging the State Department to generate, as we find out from the Associated Press today, $156 million in donations to the Clinton Foundation.
You're a lawyer. Put a RICO on this.
Well, I think there are other people have suggested, including a former U.S. attorney named Rudy Giuliani, that this sets up for a great RICO case. But unfortunately, Judicial Watch doesn't have law enforcement power. Mark Toner and Matt Lee talking about those emails. Listen to the State Department spokesman try and weasel out of this one with his mealy-mouthed response.
One of your colleagues said that that the State Department was sure that there was no impropriety involved in any of the contacts between this building and the foundation. Is that still the case?
That is still our belief, yes.
So
there was no impropriety, that this was simply, evidence of the way the process works, and in that, any Secretary of State has aides who are getting emails or contacts by a broad range of individuals and organizations.
Yeah, that's it. So this wasn't aides flacking for Hillary and the Clinton Foundation to enrich both. This was people receiving emails from other people and assisting the Secretary of State with people.
People helping people?
That's it.
Weren't these
people who help
flacks,
people are the best people there are.
Weren't these Clinton flacks also working for the government, our government, while they were working for the Clinton Foundation?
Yeah, helping people. Working for the people.
Okay, that in and of itself.
Introducing people to other people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
What is there to see here?
Forget about it.
Maybe we're taking too generous a view on what Mark Toner had to say. For more on this, we're joined by the aforementioned Shadow Attorney General, Larry Klayman, who's the founder of Judicial Watch and Freedom Watch. Larry, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys.
So Mark Toner said no impropriety. It was processes that the evidence suggests was just people talking to people. What's the big deal?
Well, there's always an excuse when it comes to the Clintons. A very important fact that's overlooked, and even the Trump campaign isn't getting into this, much less the media, is that this is nothing new for the Clintons. Back in the 1990s, when I helped uncover the Chinagate scandal, they were taking money from the Communist Chinese, donations to the Democratic National Committee, and also to themselves, the re-election campaigns, and bestowing favors to the Chinese, including giving them classified information about our relations with Taiwan. Talk about RICO. I did file a RICO case at Freedom Watch. You can find it at freedomwatchusa.org. It was assigned to a Clinton judge in Palm Beach, a federal court in Palm Beach, and he dismissed it. It's up on appeal right now. But everybody runs interference for the Clintons. It doesn't matter whether it's State Department aides or Clinton-appointed judges or Obama-appointed judges. this information's coming out. Even the FBI director, as we know, has taken a dive, Comey, and everybody thought that he was an honest guy. So they feel that they're above the law and they can do whatever they want. And all these documents that are coming out, hopefully, are going to have an impact and force some action. But really, the only case that's out there right now, guys, I know I'm diverting a little bit.
No.
I brought a lawsuit a few weeks ago for the parents of Sean Smith and Ty Woods, two people brave heroes who died at Benghazi. Wrongful death against Hillary Clinton, defamation. She has no immunity. She's exposed on this. And perhaps that'll get through because it's in front of a very good judge. But these people go off with impunity doing these things. And, in fact, it's not pay for play. It's called bribery. That's what it is. It's plain and simple bribery. And Rudy Giuliani's absolutely right.
So what is
The government, yeah.
What is the danger long-term for the republic if the country elects someone who is basically considered to be not only a racketeer, historically, a liar, clearly, and above the law in the minds of most people, and I'd say, clearly above the law. When someone like that is put in as chief executive, what is what holds for the republic?
That's a great question. Let me say this. As a head of a public interest group, I don't endorse any candidate or tell people who to vote for. But let me just talk objectively here, is that if you have someone like Hillary Clinton as president following someone like Obama, okay, she's going to be elected apparently right now with a landslide. You're going to have a Democratic Congress, both House and Senate. This country will turn heavily socialist, and even more important than that is the fact that the people will lose faith in this country totally. They've almost lost it now, and we'll be in a revolutionary state. People will be fighting against others in the street. We already have a race war that Obama stoked. We're going to have a war between men against women stoked by Hillary Clinton, and then we're going to have a complete breakdown of authority because of the fact that the people will no longer believe their president, and they'll probably take to the streets. This country will come unglued even more than it is right now.
Well, if just going back to the Clinton Foundation and the work that you're doing and unearthing these emails and putting the pieces together, as it were, do you think that there's been a kind of a slow reaction? The Associated Press, did this investigative story, which is very good, that we just referenced and we've discussed today. I'm sure you saw. But do you think that the reaction has been a bit slow from law enforcement, from media? Because as we see from the Clinton Foundation donor list, you've got a lot of media partners with the Clinton Foundation. You have a lot of donors, big media personalities and executives, as well as media operations that essentially have been in bed with the Clinton Foundation.
Well, it's across the board. I mean, notwithstanding the media, okay, which is heavily biased, notwithstanding our Justice Department, if you want to call it ours, because it's not. It's the Obama Justice Department and it's the FBI, and they're frankly in the hip pocket of Hillary Clinton and Obama, is the fact that you have the Republican establishment, which has done everything it can to stab Donald Trump in the back and destroy his candidacy, because they would rather see Hillary Clinton for 4 years. They'll get to keep the money train in Washington. It's like the National League and the American League. They're part of the entire big league there, and they're dividing up the money. They're dividing up the spoils. They're dividing up the power. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. And they have destroyed any chance that Trump has to become president. And they've, in effect, endorsed Hillary Clinton. So, except for the people of this country, a certain percentage, a large percentage, the establishment in the media and the establishment in both political parties have assassinated Donald Trump. And it looks quite certain that we're probably going to have a Hillary Clinton as president.
Well, I mean, don't despair. I think we got a long way to go between now and November 8th. But during that period, we also, because of the judge that some of your litigation is before, has ordered that State Department is to conclude its review of the emails that are pending by September 22nd, and they should start releasing them by October 14th, so 3 weeks before the election. 3.5 weeks before the election. What do you expect from the emails that have not been released but will apparently be released before the election?
I would expect more of the same. And I would ask the question, as to why the FBI has held off in having those produced to the State Department. There appears to be, and it's regrettable because I'm working with the FBI in other matters, and I had a very high regard for Director Comey. But either they're incompetent or they're in bed with the administration. Perhaps Comey is fearful that he'll never be appointed to another position. The Democrats will block it after his term ends at the FBI. But why so long? And the fact is as you raised, the press does not react to these things sufficiently, and it doesn't get to the American people who stay basically uneducated in terms of what's going on. So I don't mean to be a pessimist, but what I'm saying here is that all this information coming out with the Justice Department that is in the hip pocket of the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton, I don't see, as you pointed out earlier, anything other than Judicial Watch and Freedom Watch pushing forward. I was the founder of Freedom Watch.
What about the latest from House Republicans, Jason Chaffetz, the Oversight Committee, saying, essentially starting to get more aggressive? They're pursuing a perjury case against her. They're demanding the release of more emails. They're trying to, I think, build off the work that you've done to at least press a political advantage, if not a serious, if not, completely fulfilling their oversight responsibilities how you would if you were in that position.
You're right about the political advantage, and I'm being critical because I want to see the government act. I actually believe in the government. I was a Justice Department prosecutor, like Rudy Giuliani. But they don't act. I mean, what has Jason Chaffetz done in 8 years other than go on Fox News? And I love Fox News, okay? I'm glad you guys have him on. But, he hasn't done anything. They had Eric Holder, former Attorney General, dead to rights on Fast and Furious, committing perjury in front of Congress. Nothing happened. They have the IRS commissioner. They're trying to impeach him. Okay, why are they just impeaching him? They should be doing a whole lot more than that, pushing. Congress should enact legislation to give itself power to enforce lying in front of Congress, but they buck it over to the Justice Department to do the job. Now, an Obama Justice Department is as corrupt as Hillary Clinton. They're not going to do anything, and they never did anything under the Clinton administration under Attorney General Janet Reno. The people need to rise up. We need to do it for ourselves. I advocate peaceful, nonviolent revolution, a la Martin Luther King, Lech Walesa in Poland, elsewhere, because this government has broken away from the American people. And that's what we did in 1776. We're going to have to do it again.
All right.
I see that happening.
He is Larry Klayman, founder of Judicial Watch and Freedom Watch. Larry, thanks for joining us, and keep up the great work. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. People want to see our RICO case. It's at freedomwatchusa.org.
All right, freedomwatchusa.org. Thanks so much for Larry. Appreciate it. And Larry joined us on the turnkey.pro answer line.